Man, they really don't make them like they used to. Alright, so this is a behind the scenes look at my greatest creation to date, Sans meets Bill Cipher. This was an animation I made for my first ever YouTube channel, which was Calico Animation Studios, where I made a bunch of animations, and this was one of the first ones I made. I believe it was like the third one? It was the fourth video, but it was the third one I made. And yeah, I never topped this. So to give a bit of context behind this, this was made around May 2016, and earlier that year I'd been introduced to both Undertale and Gravity Falls by some of my friends, and I just really liked both of those things. Like, Gravity Falls, once I found out about it, I pretty much binged watched the entire series. I even had plans on making my own comic book series, because I wrote a lot of comics at the time, so I thought, hey, I want to make my own continuation series that takes place after the series. I never made that, but you know, just kind of shows like how much I really liked that series. And as for Undertale, by this point in May, I don't think I'd even played the game. I don't think I even played the game until around June of 2016. I just really liked Undertale, and especially Sans, as you can tell, because, you know, oh, he's a funny skeleton. Funny. So yeah, since my channel was mostly just about making animations starring characters from, like, series that I liked, I just wanted to have Sans and Bill Cipher meet up. Um, there's really no other, like, deep meaning behind the animation or, like, a story behind why I wanted to make it. It's just like, I sure do want Sans to meet Bill Cipher. That would be pretty neat. So to start out with the process, obviously all of the early animations I did were made in Flipnote Studio 3D, which is an animation app for the 3DS. And it was pretty fun. I always really liked this app. It's really charming, and yeah, that's just what I started using because that's just the only thing I had access to pretty much. Alright, so first up we have the rough draft file of the animation. And the reason I call it that is because if you watch this, those animations are pretty much final. The main difference is there are no timing adjustments for the voice lines. Like if you watch this, yeah, that goes by way too fast. There's no way I'd be able to say those voice lines and stuff. And I mainly did this just because, like, for this, I just wanted to get all the animations out of the way, because, you know, that's the bulk of the work. That's most of the stuff I have to do. So this file is just to, like, get those animations down, and I normally would not go in to do the timing adjustments until, like, when it's actually time to record, and when I'm actually practicing saying the lines and stuff. The only other interesting thing about this draft is the credits, because originally I'm credited as the voices for both of the characters. I'm assuming that's because I didn't plan to have Noah on as the voice of Bill Cipher until like later on in the project, like right when I was about to record. So originally I just credited myself. So because of that, because there's not two separate actors, there are no separate character stills. Yeah. Alright, and now what we have right here, this is the final file, like this is the finished final product that I ended up using. And if we watch the timing of it, you can see I actually made adjustments to the timing to make it to where I could actually do the voice lines and stuff. But as you can probably tell in the final video, I didn't do the timings like well enough. Like you can hear that I'm struggling to say Bill's lines there, but you know it did the job, you know. So once I was getting ready to record the actual video, I figured at the last minute, oh, I could have my brother voice Bill Cipher so there's more vocal variety, and because of that we have boom.
A script?
Yeah, so this is pretty much the only script I ever made for one of my animations. I never really needed to make any because, you know, I voiced most of the characters in those, so I knew, like, all the timings and stuff. But since I wanted Noah to voice Bill Cipher in this, I wrote the script out, that way he would know what to say. You can even see here, like, oh, look, there's some directions, like, after suddenly appearing and stuff. That was to get, like, some timings down, that way he would know when to say his lines, that way everything went smoothly. Like, you can even see that Sans doesn't have any because I was gonna voice him. I knew everything, like, the timings and stuff. But yeah. So yeah, since Noah was going to be one of the voice actors, I updated the credits here. Like, you can see this was going to credit him as Bill Cipher, and then you have me playing Sans. But, as you can tell, if you, if you can somehow read this terrible handwriting, it says, was going to be someone else, but they didn't want to, so I stepped in. Yeah, I don't remember why, but Noah changed his mind at like the very last minute. So I ended up voicing Bill Cipher myself, and as you can tell here, I just like hastily edited the credits explaining why I was voicing both characters. Yeah, so he changed his mind, so I ended up playing both characters, which basically means the script and these extra credit slides I made were technically useless and unused, so whoopsie daisy. Alright, so while we're already here, we might as well talk about this iconic screen. So this is basically, there was a channel I watched at the time that I was inspired by, I think it was called like Cartoon Fight Club or something. And they did a very similar thing to this, where they would just say at the end of the videos, oh, give us this many likes and we'll make a sequel. So I thought, ooh, that sounds fun and a good way to get some more, like, attention on YouTube. I'll do that for this video. And, yeah, really stupid. But I'm also kind of glad I did that because I just think it's funny. Like, that's like one of the funniest things about this video to me is just because of how, like, dumb it is. So yeah. I think to date, like as of right now, it doesn't even have 25 likes yet, even though it's been so many years. So that's amusing. You might be wondering, oh, well, if it reaches 25 likes, obviously you're not going to make a sequel now because it's been so many years. And, well, let's just say I'm a man of my word. So yeah, that's the final animation file. As you can see here, the last time it was updated was May 29th, 2016. That was actually the day I originally recorded and uploaded that video. But I recorded it, I didn't realize until the next day that I had accidentally uploaded it as a private video, and even though I could just, like, looking back, I could have just unprivated it, and it would have just published it as normal, but I was also not the brightest kid, so I didn't know how to do that, so I ended up just, like, deleting it and republishing it the next day, on May 30th, 2016, and that's the story of how May 30th became such an iconic day. So, once the animation was done and all the timings were ready, it was time to actually record everything. And this is what my recording setup looked like because Flipnote Studio 3D does have an option where you can like export stuff from your SD card to your computer. But I was a dumb kid and I never knew you could do that. So I had to do my own custom method, which was recording my 3DS screen with my iPad like this. That way I could upload it to YouTube like that. So yeah, that's why those old videos and animations looked so bad. So when I recorded those animations, I actually did not use the Photos app. I used something called YouTube Capture, which was basically just another camera app just made by YouTube. And the only real reason I did that is because like YouTube Capture just made it like a lot simpler to upload your animations and videos. Like you could pretty much just like once you're done recording, you just like enter the title of the video and the description stuff, and you can upload it straight to YouTube. Whereas photos, you have to like go through a lot of extra steps and stuff. So I just used that because that was easier. Yeah, YouTube Capture's been defunct for years, so rest in peace. So yeah, this is what the setup looked like when I was actually recording it, because you know, I would turn the lights out obviously, because that way it's not as obvious that I'm recording my 3DS screen. I mean, you know, it's still super obvious, but you know, it works. So another cool thing about Flipnote Studio 3D is that there's not really a way to record like multiple different audio pieces and like put them into the animation to play on time with everything. I mean, like you can do that, but of course it'll sound terrible because, you know, it's the 3DS's microphone. So I decided for my little setup, I would just, while I was recording my 3DS screen, I'll just record my voices while I'm actually recording the screen. So for example, what I would do is first, I would press the record button on YouTube Capture, and then I would actually play the animation, and while it's recording, I would say the voices. So it'd be like this. Well, hello there. You must be the Sans skeleton I've heard so much about. Don't try any bad jokes or I will destroy. You see, stuff like that. And yeah, as you can tell, it was super annoying because I would have to try over and over again to get the timings on the voices right and stuff. But, you know, it worked fine enough, I suppose. So this animation was actually different because I used a fan for it, because, you know, Bill Cipher sort of has like a weird filter on his voice to make him sound more alien. So I tried to replicate that in the video by doing like that thing where you like speak into a fan to make yourself sound weird. So for example, I would do like, well, hello there. You must be the Sans skeleton I've heard so much about. You know, like that. But yeah, it didn't sound the greatest, but you know, it kind of made it sound a little bit different, so it was fine. You know, the one downside, as you can tell, is that, the fan was running the whole time, which made for a lot of background noise, which you can hear for like the entirety of that animation. So that's pretty awesome. So usually after I uploaded these to YouTube, I would just be completely done with them and move on to the next project, but this one was an example because I actually made my own custom subtitles for them. Basically, since YouTube gives you the option to make your own captions for your videos, I thought, oh, this is my first animation that I used voices for, so I could make my own subtitles for them. That'd be a fun little thing to work on. And as you can see...
Well, hello there. You must be the Sans the Skeleton I've heard so much about. Don't try any bad jokes or I will destroy you. Oh, don't.
It's pretty obvious those are my own custom subtitles, because you can tell that the timing is just kind of all over the place. But, you know, it was fun. I also added a little Easter egg for Sans' subtitles, because you can see here, that's pretty much like the way his text is formatted in Undertale. Yeah, I just thought that'd be a fun little attention to detail for, like, the two people who use subtitles on Sans Meets Bill Cipher. I did end up using subtitles again for DDD's New Problem, but after that I just did not use them again because, I mean, they weren't like super time consuming, they only took like an hour to do, but you know, it was time consuming enough to where I didn't want to work on it because I didn't really think much people would use it. So that was all stuff that's in the finished product, but believe it or not, there's actually unused content for Sans Meets Bill Cipher. If we go into the rough draft, you'll see this. So this is basically, I believe this is supposed to be what was going to be the thumbnail for the actual video. It's like, because you can see here, they were never in these poses in the actual animation, and you know, they're kind of in like positions that kind of makes for a good thumbnail. But yeah, the thing is, like I've said before, I was stupid, and I never learned how to do custom thumbnails until like November of 2016, and by that point I was long done with this animation channel. So yeah, this ended up going unused, solely for the fact that I did not even bother to learn how to do stuff. So yeah, that's the behind the scenes for Sans Meets Bill Cipher. I just really wanted to do like a behind the scenes thing for like those old animations I made, and I figured might as well do Sans Meets Bill Cipher because like that had a lot of extra stuff to it that the other ones didn't have, like the unused thumbnail, the script, the fan I used for recording, stuff like that. So yeah, just thought that'd be interesting. Hopefully it was interesting to watch at least. I know it was interesting for me to make because looking back at Sans Meets Bill Cipher, I've realized I peaked really early in life.